Hello everybody, today we're going to be playing some Microsoft Flight. Yep, but enough of that. Okay, so Microsoft Flight, if you haven't heard of it before, I recommend going on to Steam here and downloading it. It's free. This is made by the same people who made Microsoft Flight Simulator X and the whole big bang of Microsoft Flight simulators. Now, the only difference between this one, though, is that it is mission-based, although there is a free flight. It's only in Hawaii on one island unless you buy either the A, Alaska expansion pack, or B, Hawaii expansion pack, which gives you more of the Hawaiian Islands. And the other thing is that, as you can see, these are all the aircraft. They are making more, but these are all the current ones. And one thing I'm going to tell you right now is the ones highlighted in gold, as you can see by the frame right here, are premium. And what that means is that you can see inside of the cockpit, which I would recommend only buying the premium aircraft because the other ones are a waste of money. As you can see, I bought this one right here, expecting it was going to be a cockpit view, and it was not. So I was pretty upset. So today we're just going to be cruising in the Icon A5. That's one of my favorite aircrafts. You can go in here, you can edit the fuel, do all that other stuff. I like this black one right here, so we're going to zoom in here. This is the current island that you can do if you do not have any of the expansion packs. And let's go to Pipikyo airstrip. Take off. So I'm just going to introduce you guys to some of the main stuff of this game. It's actually pretty fun. There's missions that you can fly. This is a good game for online with friends too. And I'm sorry I'm making you sit through this wonderful loading screen. In most flying, there are 3 throttle ranges to focus on. Yada yada yada. Okay. So, as you can see, right now we're on a wooden airstrip, really close to trees. I don't know if that's basically the best thing, but yeah. So I'm just going to turn off the engine here and turn off the battery. And as you can see, you can open up the cockpit. Only in the premium aircraft that have cockpits, you can open them up. You do not exist in real life, and neither do any of your passengers if you play any of the missions. Everybody just is invisible, except for when you are outside of the plane. Somehow you immediately appear, and you seem to be a Polynesian man in a stereotypical Hawaiian shirt, because that's how everybody is in Hawaii. But yeah, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop the cockpit, and if you press Q, you can open up a checklist. I like this because one thing that they didn't put in Flight Simulator X was an implementable checklist that you can do. So we're just going to do engine start. If you hit 1, it will do auto checklist to you. And as you can see, it's going through it by itself. I'm not doing anything to the keyboard. It's just monitoring, doing stuff like that. So we're just going to run through a couple checklists here just to ensure that we're ready to take off. So we got the closed canopy, all the instruments are good. Flight instruments are good. Trim is on takeoff. And it's going to do a quick throttle check. Check the magneto. Both magnetos. Alright. Engine instruments recheck. Throttle is set to 0. Oil temperature, brakes, yada yada. Let's check our oil temperature is 155, 56, and it's going up steadily. Alright, so now that we're ready, we're going to throw all of our lights on really quick, and we're going to get to taking off here. So, I've played this game a little bit already, and one thing that I first started out with is the controls are not what you would normally expect, and you have to invert them, as usual. Alright, so now that we're lifting above these trees, which I don't believe that was a proper airport, but anyways, you can see it's smooth flying, very smooth. That's actually one of the features that they put in here. It makes sure, when it's checked, it makes sure that all your movements are smooth. so that you don't end up, you know, blowing anything up by making too hard of a turn. So we're just gonna head over this way and try and find us our other airport. As you see, if you look on the map, you can see the airport. It's a big city right there and such. So we're gonna fly over that way. Now, a lot of people say that they don't like this game, and there are a few things about it that I don't like, but I think if you're just, you know, looking to play with friends, or if you're just looking to cruise around and you really like, my favorite airplane in existence is the Icon A5. Of course, that's why I chose it. So if you're really looking to fly around in kind of a high definition, completely focused on the looks, the aesthetics, this is the game for you. It's free, so I don't see why you wouldn't download it, because it's completely free unless you decide to buy the add-on packs, which maybe I'll invest in the future, and maybe I'll show you guys a little bit more of that. But as of right now, we're just going through the basics here. So you can look around the cockpit. The detail in this is pretty phenomenal. I love the shading, I love the colors, the texture, everything that I got going. I'm only running it on high settings, not maximum. And it kind of gives me the chance to be able to fly an airplane I'm not able to fly in real life. Now, people complained a lot about the physics of the game, but I don't really see why. People were saying that it was unrealistic, that it seemed too, I don't know what they were saying. They were just saying they didn't like it, thought it was unrealistic, but I really don't believe that it's unrealistic. Now, if you're maintaining inside of the cockpit view, it looks very good. If you're outside of the cockpit view, it looks alright. It's not premium quality, but it looks alright. And then you have, of course, your other views. You have the free view, you have the flyby, which is just like a cinematic. Your top-down view, you know, all the things standard to Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator X, and other flight simulators like that. So, in this video, I'm just going to be landing for you on one thing, and then we're just going to do one of the missions so I can show you how everything goes in the game, based on voice, characters, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to check where we are in relation to the airport. Seems that we're doing alright. So I can drop us down here to about 50% throttle, and we can just maintain our heading and such. Now, one cool thing I like about this, that they did not, I don't believe that they had an FSX. You actually had to buy the IR tracker in order to get this one, but if you click the scroll wheel and move the mouse around, you can actually move your head around in the game, which I think is pretty cool. And then you just press backspace to return to the view. Right clicking, you can scroll in and out, so you can see our attack, or angle of attack is what I'm looking straight at. You have the altitude, RPMs, oil pressure, oil temperature, the map, you know, all of that good stuff that you need and love. Yeah, it's pretty much the gist of the inside of this plane. So it's actually telling me that I'm at 6 degrees of an angle of attack. Okay, so we're going to make this approach for this airport here. It's down here on the left, right there. You can probably see it. So we're just going to get prepared for this. Now, one cool thing that you can run through is you can run through a before landing checklist. Alright, so we're going to do approach and landing. So we're going to automate the checklist here. So I'm not going to throw our gear down just yet, but we are going to let it chill. I'm just going to readjust the view so that I'm back in the center. Put my head down a little bit. And one cool thing that you get in this game is if you're using the wheel, not the wheel, I'm sorry, the mouse as a yoke, you can just do that by pressing the spacebar. Mouse mode resumed. You kind of get your axis that you got going here if you're in the correct view, if you're centered. Okay, so we're going to start coming down from about 3,000 feet. I'm going to drop it down here to about 30%. We're going to start moving down. Should just push us down automatically. And we can see that we're a little bit high according to the airport. So we're going to go down to 20% and just start moving down. Maintain about 50 knots. 54, 55 knots. And I do believe that we're going to throw our gear down after we make the turn onto final, the base turn. So I really do enjoy this game. It's nice, it's fun to play if I'm bored. Just got a little achievement there. You know, it's a fun game to play if I don't feel like running Flight Simulator X and having moderate frame rates. So I'm getting pretty good frame rates with this recording with frames. Normally I get about 60. Right now I'm getting about 30. So I'm getting pretty decent frame rates, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna start moving in here. Seems that we're still a little bit high. Excuse my bad landing, but you know, I'm just fooling around here. There's no real plan for this video. Just to introduce you into Microsoft Flight. Completely free game unless you want to download other stuff, which I don't really recommend. Except for the expansion packs, that's the only thing that I download. And maybe some of the other premium aircraft, and they say that they're coming out with more, so. Alright, so now that we're getting to there, we're going to drop the gear. That's going to give us a lot of drag. Alright. So speed is going to have to be 55 knots. As you can see, we're still a tad bit high according to the runway indicators. They're all white. But I believe that as we get closer here, they're going to start turning red. If anything, I could just dip down and drop my throttle down to about 10%. This will bring me down to about 55 knots. Okay, so we are on final now. Make any small adjustments that we need to. Get on our descent rate properly. There we go. Okay. So let's maintain our speed here. Drop it down a little bit. There we go. So as we can see, we're dropping a little bit low. It's gonna tell us that our speed is correct, but our altitude is not. So I'm gonna try and climb a tiny bit, or at least maintain altitude, not climb. You never want to climb if you're this close into the final approach. We're just going to continue our adjustment. We're still 1 on the white bar here. We need to be 2. There we go. Okay, so now that we've maintained that whole ordeal there, let's start dropping down just a tad bit more. And we need to drop down to about 55 knots. 55 knots in airspeed is what we're looking at. There we go. Okay, so our landing speed is 43 knots over the runway. Let's make our final course adjustments here. Final adjustments. Now, one thing is that you don't have autopilot, of course, in this game. They didn't implement any large aircraft like Boeings or Airbuses. You just have smaller, kind of cruising, touring aircrafts, prop aircrafts. Every single aircraft in the game is a propeller aircraft. Okay, so we're going to drop us down to about 10 here. Get to that speed that we need to be at. And kind of, see, we're getting a little bit of a stall warning here. Coming out a little short, but you know, it's life without its mistakes. So we're going to cut the throttle here. That should drop us down a bit. And there we go. So that's how you land a plane in this game. Very simple. You press X to push the brakes if you need to. You can hear them squeal. Alright, now it's time to introduce you guys into a mission. So we're going to go to Activities, Missions. And right here we're going to do Tutorial 2, Landing. Even though I just landed, we're going to just do the tutorial. This is one of the tutorial missions. So you're going to hear a lady speaking to us about how we're going to land. Sorry once again for making you sit through the loading screen. Alright, here we go.
In this short lesson, we'll go over the basics of landing a light aircraft. You want to fly this mission a few times. It takes practice to make a perfect approach and landing.
Yes, I do know this. I've flown a lot
We'll
in my
fly the
time.
Icon A5 just south of Kona International.
Cool.
The runway here is huge, so it's hard to miss. It's actually built over a lava field.
That seems anti-progressive.
Okay. There are 3 keys to landing an airplane. Speed, speed, and you guessed it, speed.
Okay, really?
My instructor always told me, you've got to slow down to go down.
That's what I said to
You
my
have the
girlfriend.
airplane.
Ooh,
Go
no.
ahead and pull the throttle back to 45%,
Okay.
or about 3,800 RPM. Good. Let's lower the landing gear now as well.
So this is the kind of tutorials that you can expect.
You see how the nose drops?
Yeah, I do see. Thank you for
Lift the
alerting
nose
me.
up just enough for a shallow descent, and we'll start slowing down. Let me show you something. I'll handle the throttle for this part of the lesson.
Okay, I believe that
just
eliminates
concentrate on flying the airplane.
that eliminates the purpose of landing.
Since speed is the key to a good landing, pay close attention to our airspeed.
There we go, about 56.
We want to descend toward the runway at about 55 knots in this aircraft. So rather than using the throttle to adjust our speed, raise the nose to slow down or lower the nose to speed up.
What happens if
It
you're
might
too low?
sound strange, but it'll really help you nail the landing. Go ahead and try it. Good job, we're right on speed. Okay, now that we're at 55 knots, make slight adjustments to maintain this airspeed.
I can't pay attention to the damn runway.
Okay, good job so far. You have control of the throttle again.
Okay, why'd you have to control it at that section? Jeez, man. I swear, some of these tutorials are
You see
anti-progressive.
the lights on the left side of the runway?
Pappy.
Those are called the PAPI lights. They let you know if you're on the glide slope to the runway.
Yep.
All red lights mean you're too low, and all white lights mean you're too high. If you see 2 white and 2 red, you're right on the glide slope. Not all airports have these lights, however. Some airports use a very similar system called the VASI. Right now it shows 3 white lights and 1 red light, so we're just a little high on the approach. To
Cool.
adjust how high or low we are, use the throttle. Since we're a little high, go ahead and pull the power back a bit. We're looking for 2 white and 2 red lights. We're right where we need to be. Great job. Remember to put the throttle back after making adjustments.
Yeah.
Okay, getting close. Try and make only minor adjustments.
Seems right. Coming in at an angle here.
Now that we're over the runway, pull the power back to idle. And hold the nose up so the aircraft just settles onto the runway.
As we stall.
Well, it'll take a little practice to make a good landing.
Yep.
Now
It will.
gently brake until we've slowed down to about 10 knots. Okay, try it again. Practice makes perfect.
No, I'm not trying it again. Well, that's the gist of a tutorial in this game. Funny sounds. Other stuff like that. Yay! One of the cool things is, here, just let me show you this one. Let's get my Struman. Let's get a nice paint scheme going here. Yeah, U.S. Navy. I believe that's a little biased because the Royal Navy is like the last thing that you can get. Alright. So we're just going to go right here. And fly. Okay. So we're going to go flying over this way. We're going to do a nice roll stall combination here. Alright, I believe right here is adequate enough. There we go. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Yeah. As we go right into the ground. That happens a lot in the game. But yeah. So, looks like after the ambulance comes to rescue me after I'm comfortably sitting in the ground. Oh, there she is. Seems like that's going to be it for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at Microsoft Flight. There might be more videos on it depending on what I feel like doing. If you would, you can go and download this on Steam. It's a pretty fun game to play with friends, so I'd recommend having a couple friends get it too. But that's pretty much the gist of it. There's also the Alaskan and the additional Hawaiian map pack that you can always buy. But looks like that's it for today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.